Like to call this meeting to order for the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors for the regular session on May 30th, 2023. Roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Hall.
Here.
Little.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Trelka.
Here.
Leyland.
Here. Would everyone please join us for a moment of silence to reflect on our actions today? Thank you. Would everyone please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1 is the agenda received as proposed or as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The agenda is received. Public comments. Is there anyone in the audience or on Zoom today that would like to speak on something that's not on the agenda? Seeing none. Claims and payments. This is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Ms. Weidner?
Good morning, Board. Today we're making total payments of $250,482.80. And of that, there is one construction payment to Taylor Construction for the Cedar Valley Nature Trail. That's for about $76,000. And then we are making payments today from the 60/40 fund of $2,165.61. And everything there appears to be in order. I would almost forgot this. We also did make our bond payments that are due June 1st, so we're not going to be in the position that the federal government's in. So that total is $5,511,900.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Hall.
Yes.
Little.
No.
Schwartz. Yes. Trelka.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 4, receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. Just a brief update on our secondary roads crews. They are placing mile rock around the county this week, mowing and spraying weeds. And then our contract work continues on the Pointer Road Bridge. That's the bridge replacement east of Gilbertville. The contractor is doing the form work to get ready to place that deck probably within the next week or so. And then paving is on Washburn Road today. That is our contract paving project for the year. In front of the landfill, we are coordinating with the landfill so that traffic can still get in and out of there in a orderly fashion. And then also we do have another bridge contract. This is not this, it's 3 bridges, but not the bridge project that I'll be telling you about a little bit later. 3 bridges that need some deck work, and the first bridge will be on Osage Road, and I believe that started last Thursday. Work will continue on that, and then the contractor will move down to Zanetta Road, and there will be some detours. Those are getting set up and in place. Can I answer any questions?
Yeah, Kathy, I received that email yesterday on some road problems. I forwarded it to you. You probably didn't get a chance to see it. Would you review that and then get back?
Yes, and thank you, Tom. And I should also say that we are working with the Iowa DOT on that 58. They have a deck project just in the Hudson city limits on the north side of town that has closed. Our Waters Road and 58 is closed in that area. We are working with them to get dust control on Alice Road and a few other roads in that area. So we're asking people to be patient for the next week before the dust control can be applied. Can I answer any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Are there any other department heads or elected officials that would like to provide updates? Hearing none, we'll move on to minutes approved for May 23rd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Item 6, consent agenda. The following items will be acted upon by a single resolution unless someone wishes from the board to discuss a separate item.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. If there are none to be removed, please answer as your name is called.
Sorry. Little,
Yes.
Schwartz. Yes. Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Thank you. Item 7, proclamations, the LGBTQ plus Pride Month.
So moved.
Second.
I believe Grant has the language. I brought this forward. Some folks asked me to after the kind of surprising controversy that happened in Cedar Falls, and it's been a tough year for LGBTQ plus people, even across the country and in Iowa. That there's been a lot of political attacks on what we consider our human rights, and so I think the community would really appreciate just hearing, that we've got their back here, and that this is a welcoming and loving community. Grant has the proclamation.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Whereas Black Hawk County is a friendly and welcoming community that celebrates and promotes diversity and inclusion, and whereas Black Hawk County recognizes the importance of equality and freedom for all its residents, and whereas Black Hawk County recognizes that our nation was founded upon the principles that all people are created equal and that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and whereas Black Hawk County is dedicated to fostering acceptance of all its residents and preventing discrimination and mistreatment based on sexual orientation or gender identity, and to reaffirming its commitment to supporting the rights of LGBTQ plus community. And whereas Black Hawk County is strengthened by and thrives upon the rich diversity of ethnic, cultural, racial, gender, and sexual identities of its residents, all of which make up our vibrant character. And whereas Black Hawk County recognizes the importance and contributions of members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer plus community. And whereas Black Hawk County recognizes the damaging effects of unprecedented attacks on the LGBTQ community by the state legislature. And whereas Black Hawk County opposes these legislative attacks on the LGBTQ plus community and wishes the state government of Iowa would instead focus on being better partners with local government. And whereas Black Hawk County acknowledges that June has historically been a month of celebration and pride for the LGBTQ plus community ever since the Stonewall riots of 1969. Now, therefore, we, the Black Hawk County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim and recognize the month of June as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer Plus Pride Month. And we urge all residents to actively promote the principles of equality and liberty, and we remind the LGBTQ plus community that they are loved and cherished and seen for who they are, deserving of dignity, respect, and support throughout our county.
Thank you, Grant. Are any other comments? I was going to say
I don't think so.
thank you for, that says it all, I think. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Trelka?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to item 8, contracts and agreements. Resolution that the contract with Cost Advisory Services, Inc. in Adel, Iowa for cost allocation report services for fiscal year 23, 24, and 25 in the amount of $9,800 per annual cost allocation be approved and the chair be directed to sign as recommended by Grant Veeder, and the certificate of insurance be received and placed on file.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any discussion, any comments, questions? All right, please answer as your name is called.
Trelka?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes. Item B, resolution that the statement of completion and final acceptance of work for project L-7012 Dysart Road Bridge Approach repairs be approved and direct the chair to sign for same and authorize and direct the auditor to make final payment in the amount of $88,322.01 as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer. Project contracted at $88,004 with a contract completion date of June 30th, 2023. Liquidated damages assessed. Zero contractor, Boulder Contracting, LLC, Grundy Center, Iowa.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Kathy, would you?
Yes, thank you. As is my custom now, I'd like to show you a few photos at the end of our project and let you know that this project did meet specifications. So this was a contract project on Dysart Road to take care of the bridge approaches on 3 bridges between Schrock Road and Eagle Roads. These are the 3 bridges. There's a lot of traffic that goes to the quarry, the main Waterloo South quarry. The contract was awarded to Boulder Contracting back in, I believe, February for $88,004. There were $1,000 a day liquidated damages with no working days. It was a contract completion day. We just wanted to complete by the end of this fiscal year, June 30th. They did complete the work in about 3 weeks, primarily this month, a little bit of the end of April. And I would recommend that you do pay Boulder Contracting that $88,322. I'll just show you a few photos here. Now, as you know, our bridges are made out of concrete, and is very typical. We have bridge approaches, and they range from about 40 to 60 feet on each side of the bridge. So this kind of spans the pavement, either an asphalt pavement or a concrete pavement, to the concrete bridge. So this would be a slab of concrete that is about 40 to 60 feet in length, depending on the age. Those standards have varied over the years. There's typically 2 to 3 joints in those approach spans of. This is one of the smaller patches you can see here. Water gets into the joint over time. The joint material dissolves or degrades over time. Then water is then able to enter between those slabs, and it can cause some spalling at the joints in particular. This leads to a rough ride, and then that can also impact, as there's more roughness introduced, those heavy trucks can impact that concrete and cause it to deteriorate. So this has been a patch has been placed here, and then new joint material has been placed in the joint there. This shows the concrete has been removed here. There was a joint here previously in the same location. We've decided to place a subdrain here right underneath that joint to take away the water that is entering the joint. This shows another location. In this case, the bridge is at the forefront here, and the slabs are, going to the top of the photo here. The joint has been removed. They are doweling in these green bars in on both sides, and then a new joint would be placed down the middle of the two, in between the 2 slabs here. This is what it looks like just before the concrete is placed. You can see the new expansion joint here, and then the dowels reinforcing the slabs. And then the last photo here, this just shows the shoulder, restoring the shoulder material, and then we typically would be paving over that and then replacing the aggregate underneath the guardrail. So again, this project did meet specifications. I would recommend that you pay Boulder Contracting the amount that we have designated, and then we'd be allowed to close the project. Can I answer any questions?
Looks like none.
No.
Thank you, Kathy. All right.
Thank you.
Great. Well, it's been motioned and seconded, so please answer as your name is called.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item C, resolution to approve the renewal letter for Madison National Life / National Insurance Services, excuse me, for the long-term disability insurance rates, no change, effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Amanda Fesenmeyer, Human Resources
moved.
Director and prospective consultant.
Second.
I moved and seconded. Amanda.
Yes, all right, well, good morning. So I just want to touch on this a little bit. So this is a long-term disability insurance that really is only applicable to 3 people here. It's department heads that don't have sick time. So I don't think we've had a claim since I've been here for this. We are talking about, with our group that is responsible for the benefits in the self-insured fund for our health coverage, about possibly fulfilling a bit of a gap that we see with offering voluntary short-term life as opposed to looking at this long-term disability. So there's an effort right now to kind of evaluate our benefits and see if they're actually equal across different areas and different roles throughout our county. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that I don't know that this is something that will continue following this year. We may be presenting you with some other ideas since it's only really 3 people. It's a very minimal amount and it's not a benefit that's really widely used at all. And what we're seeing a lot more is that we have new hires that don't have enough sick time, that have a lot of, may have situations that come up where they need to be off for surgery or for FMLA, and we don't really have a benefit to offer them for that paid time. But like a voluntary short-term, disability plan, something that we at least give them access to through our life insurance company, which is what's being recommended by the consultants, is something that we'll likely be proposing to the board for next budget session. But so just kind of FYI on that. But at this point, I am recommending approval for this to continue to have the coverage for those 3 department heads in the event that they really would need it. And long-term is really something that you're out ill beyond like 6 months, beyond the short term, which is ranging close to that 6-month period.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Amanda?
Amanda, the examples you gave on the employees, are they bargaining or non-bargaining?
They're department heads. So actually, it's our engineer, conservation, and BA director. As we have new department heads come on, we do, we offer the long-term and short-term PTO schedule. So it's really just 3 individuals that have been here a long time, kind of grandfathered in under a previous benefit system where there really was no accruals for department heads. They could come and go entirely as they please, and they were salaried. So.
Do you have any other questions, Tom, or did that answer it for you?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, if there are no other questions, please answer as your name is called.
Hall.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item D, resolution to approve the renewal agreement between the Blackhawk County and Avisus as the county's voluntary vision plan provider effective July 1st, 2023, with no rate increases be approved, and direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Amanda Fesenmeyer, Human Resources Director and prospective consulting partners.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Would you like to comment on this as well?
Sure. So our vision coverage is completely voluntary and one that is paid wholly by the employee. So the rates have been set for the budget this year. There's no change with this, no change in the plan. We may be bidding this out next year as we kind of look at the utilization of under Avisus and if there are other more beneficial vision plans than what we've had. We haven't looked at vision in quite some time because it's really voluntary and something that the county doesn't pay, really pays very little towards. So,
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Little.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item E, resolution to approve the agreement between Blackhawk County and Employee Family Resources as the county's employee assistance program provider effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, with a $2,500 rate increase be approved, and direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Amanda Fesenmeyer, Human Resources Director and prospective consulting partners.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
okay,
Comment?
so our EAP here has historically been handled through ISAC, and we were able to piggyback off of ISAC's agreement with EFR last I think November, we were notified that ISAC was going to a different provider, or a different plan provider that would have a little bit different plan offerings, and one of those was less in-person counseling sessions. At least the limitation was reduced by half. So kind of allowed us to reach out to EFR, and they agreed to just maintain our current contract pricing that and honor that what we had through ISAC. And then the Core Plus, which is the additional $2,500 that we're recommending, this kind of enhances our EAP program, I would say. I mentioned that there is a retirement readiness consultation, there's nutrition consultation, wellness training, coachings, and as we have our intern planning to start later this fiscal year, that's an area that I'd like the intern to focus on collecting information from our workforce as to what benefits we can kind of tailor to those needs, and wellness, I think, will be a significant one as we have some room for improvement there. So.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Amanda? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item F, resolution to approve Amanda Fesenmeyer, Human Resources Director, to be an authorized signer on behalf of Blackhawk County for administrative or procedural documents provided by Wellmark.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Anything you want to comment on this, or?
Sure, so I don't have anything for you all to sign, but we have several things that are coming through this implementation, such as like Medicare compliance, changing the TPA. There are just a wide range of documents that need to be completed to avoid delaying the implementation process. So this is just going to be for a short period of time that I would ask that I be authorized to sign off on those. You all have already approved it through the RFP process and the contract with Wellmark, but it's just dotting the I's, crossing the T's, things like that, just to make sure that everything's aligned for July 1st.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item G, resolution to approve the amendment to the Health Services Network Access Administration Agreement for Blackhawk County at a cost of $35 per claim incurred on or after the effective date and on or before the termination date for medical claims received and processed after the termination date, but prior to the end of the run-out period.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. You want to clarify this?
Yes, so the dates, so it's effective July 1st. And so what this does, it allows preferred one, our current TPA, to process and administer claims that were incurred before July 1st, but have to be processed after July 1st. It will be for a year, so technically will end June 30th, 2024. And talking with Stacy from Perspective, they're anticipating when they've had other clients go through this process, it's about a 2 to 3 month initial, process where we get a lot of those claims coming through and being paid out at $35 a claim. If you recall, Wellmark, we did receive a $100,000 credit under their proposal to basically help offset that run-out period to pay for those claims and that additional administrative services beyond July 1st. So the run-out period ends June 30th, 2024. The termination date released July 1st. And again, it's for claims that were received, or that were incurred before July 1st and are processed after July 1st. But for anything that basically happened before we went to Wellmark, so.
This is probably pretty standard. I just don't remember it quite before, so.
Right, no, I
Thank
mean,
you.
I don't know how long we've been with preferred one, but at the time we would have went from first administrators, I think, to preferred one, we would have done a similar process, so.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 9, other business. Discussion and possible board action on a resolution adopting a revised room and board 40% fund procedure. Good. We had this on, and I was going to say, I didn't know how we wanted to lead into this. I was going to say, I know, Michelle, you sent this out.
I did, I put it up on your board there.
Yeah, thank you. And basically, I
I
don't know if
think
you want
maybe
to
I'll
do.
just touch on the
okay.
change. Most of these are just clarifying the policy that was already, in fact, all of it's really clarifying the policy that was already passed in December. But I know the board had several questions about different topics. So we added under the contracts or current contracted services currently paid by the fund, we put in the most recent amount that's been paid. So I think the intent would be if new modules to that software were purchased that would increase that cost, we would probably expect those to come for pre-approval as well. But the biggest one is requiring amendments to existing contracts and agreements to come. That was the thing that kind of fell through the cracks. Right as we were changing the policy, there was an amendment to the Envision agreement for the jail lobby, and it just slid through. And I think none of us realized it, so we just wanted to clarify that. And that's, other than that, I don't think there's any changes.
No, I thought primarily there weren't many changes. It was just really kind of clarifying, I guess, the numbers and making it more clear, I guess, if it was an annual cost versus in some of those items where you had the $1,000, whether it was an annual cost or a monthly cost or whatever. And I probably am the one responsible for asking what the different contracts were when you had the contract services and gave the estimated costs. Just, I was asking, I guess, for clarification because I didn't know what those costs were, so that helped me as well. Nate, I was going to say you step forward. I was going to say you've seen it. I was going to say that what are your thoughts?
No issues whatsoever. It seems pretty straightforward. Hopefully it can be enough to just kind of put this thing to bed for good and we can move on with it. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with what you've got there. So.
Second.
Was there a motion?
I think Tom made the motion.
Did you make? Oh, Tom, did you make the motion? Okay, thank.
Yeah, so
I'm
moved.
sorry. All right. Great. It's been moved and seconded. I guess no further discussion is probably needed. And please answer as your name is called. Thank you. Thank you all.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Belka,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item B, motion that the grounds use request for Good Morrow Pizza to use the Blackhawk County parking lot north of the Pinecrest Building located at 1407 Independence Avenue on June 7 for food truck services be approved and to receive and place on file the certificate of insurance for same and direct the chair to sign the permission letter for same.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. There going to be discussion on this or comments? I thought I didn't know if it
Is
was
there,
from you, Rory.
is
or-
there any,
Caitlin.
are all the insurances in, Linda?
Yeah, I think that's what I was waiting to either hear from Caitlin or Rory, and Rory's just now stepped to the podium. So.
Good morning, Board. Rory Giving, Maintenance Superintendent. We have received the application, but to my knowledge, we have not received the document indicating the insurance requirements. So I guess my suggestion for today would be approval based on subject to receiving that insurance documentation.
I would modify the motion to reflect that.
And then one other thing I'd like to just mention, they did identify utilizing the north parking lot. I may change that. Only reason is on the north side, the employees don't have access to that back door, and I really don't want to promote using that back door, so I may ask to move that to the lower lot to the east side of the building, and that would be in the employee parking lot. But just wanted to make a note on that. Other than that, it appears that everything is in order, again, with the exception of the insurance document.
Yeah, I think they sent the application, which indicated that there was insurance, but we need to actually see that. So
Correct.
that's kind of and I don't see, I see Matthews on there. I'm not sure about any others, but I know I was just curious, and this is a question for you, perhaps, if they do this other date, other than June 7th, do they have to still present on a board agenda item, or how would that be handled? Like individually, or what would be the recommendation? And not that you have to answer today. Just, I thought something to
you know,
think
this
about.
this application specifically dates June 7th, so I guess we would have to look at that and make a determination.
Okay, I assumed if they did other services, we'd be looking at them as well, so, but I
Correct.
just thought perhaps once somebody had the approval, they'd come back again, but maybe not.
That would be my assumption as well.
Okay,
yeah.
So, all right, so.
I was
we're-
wondering, would it make
Yes.
some sense to just have it as a policy instead of it coming to the board every time? The same as, if they've got the insurance, if we sort of set the standard, it probably makes sense to just streamline that through Rory versus having that push back to us every time.
Yeah, because I like this. I like having different food trucks come
Yeah.
in. So let's just set a policy to allow them to do so.
I just want to know so I can go get lunch.
Yeah. It's nice to know what days, yeah,
Has to be a part of your department head update.
certainly.
Thank
So
you.
that's something you can put in the policy review.
Yeah, we can submit that. We've got a few items we'd like to go through policy review. We just add that to our list and, yeah,
Great,
okay.
thank you. All right, it's been motioned and seconded then, I guess.
Could I just clarify
Yes.
how we're changing the motion? So are we
Please.
saying that it's going to be for the parking lot east of Pinecrest instead of north?
Does it make any difference as long as we're doing it?
In my opinion, it really doesn't make a difference how it's read. I was going to meet with these folks, and in my opinion, I think it makes more sense to have it on the east lot, just because there is no parking on the north side. We don't have entrance and access.
Right. So do we just want to take out the word north and just say the parking lot?
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Pinecrest parking lot, yeah, that'd be fine. Thank you.
Okay. And then we're
Linda?
contingent on receipt of necessary insurance documentation.
Definitely,
Yep.
yeah. Definitely contingent on that has to be added, and that was approved by everybody. Yes, Tom?
The only concern I've had is the board has, in the past, approved things pending. And that's the last the board ever hears of it. So we have no idea if the approval was actually, all the requirements were met, or if they actually went into service before they were met or anything. So when we do the pending, if we're going to do that, I think we should at least hear that all this information is been delivered to the county and it's satisfied. Otherwise, we never hear another word when we do this pending. I always think it's better just to table it for a week until they get the proper documentation in line.
And I know the date was June 7th, which is next week, but I would assume they mentioned in the email, they did mention in the email that they had the insurance. So I'm assuming someone has it and just hasn't provided it or thought when they provided the application that was sufficient. But I would agree with you with that, and I would think perhaps I'd ask the board to consider us putting contingent on receiving that, but also notification to the board that it's been received. Whether that's Rory sending it to us or Caitlin sending it to us, doesn't really care, but that we have that, otherwise we don't go forward with it.
Yeah, that's absolutely no problem. As soon as we receive that in our office, we'll most definitely forward that over to the board and make sure everybody has a chance to review it.
Does that satisfy your question?
Yeah,
Tom?
I think that works, Linda, but that should also apply to future
Oh.
pendings.
Yes,
Because
we-
unless it's a complete emergency, there's no reason why we can't table an item for a week. This case here, I understand they want to start the 7th.
Yes.
But in the future, I think we ought to be a little bit more cautious on doing the pending.
Sure. All right, appreciate that. So everyone wants to take I guess with
Yep.
that added, is that all right to add that language as well? We provided that, Grant, does that make sense for you?
So contingent on receipt of necessary insurance documentation being forwarded to the Board of Supervisors?
Yes.
Yep.
And sooner than the event, so I guess by the June 7th date or before, yeah. Is that all right?
Is that it? Yep.
Well, for now, yeah, I think that's it, yeah. Does that satisfy you for that time too? All right.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because in all reality, it's nice to have a food cart and everything, but everything we do is to protect the county and liability.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things that can go wrong with a food cart. Plus the fact there'll probably be public using it across the street with the school. I don't know what they do over there, and so forth. So there's a lot of liability there. That's why it's essential we protect the liability of the county.
Yeah, well, liability is critical, but I said it's been good to hear from a couple of departments in the last couple of weeks too, how much they enjoyed that service. So glad to see that we can provide it for everybody out there. That's great. Okay, motion being made, no further questions or comments, and I guess all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item C, motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing bid opening to be held at 9:05 on Tuesday, June 13th in Boardroom 201 of the Blackhawk County Courthouse on the proposed purchase of one excavator for the Blackhawk County Engineer's Office.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item D, resolution that the minor plat of survey submitted by Lisa Johnson to minor plat 1.5 acres located at 5405 Miller Creek Road in order to construct one new single-family home be approved, and if approved, that the county auditor be directed to certify a copy of this resolution for the Blackhawk County Recorder.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Zach, please.
Okay, yeah, this is basically a request at 5405 Miller Creek Road, the Johnston minor plat. It's a request to plat 1.51 acres in order to construct a new single-family home. It was moved by AG and seconded by Shaver to approve the request by Lisa Johnson to plat 1.5 acres, construct a new single-family home at north of 5405 Miller Creek Road. The request was unanimously approved. The 1.5 acres in question is located at 4505 Miller Creek Road, which is adjacent to the Miller Creek Road and Comanche Trail intersection. The one parcel containing the 1.5 acres for the proposed plat area has been zoned A agricultural district since the adoption of the zoning ordinance in 1982. Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended request to rezone it from A to AR. At its regular meeting on March 21st, 2023, the Board of Supervisors approved the rezone request at their regular meeting on April 18th, 2023. The surrounding plat area consists of lands with some rural homes in the zoned agricultural district and air agricultural residential district to the northeast and west. Plat area is designated as residential in the future land use map, a component of the Blackhawk County Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval of the minor plat request. And Technical Review Committee didn't have any concerns with regards to the minor plat request as well.
Great.
And I know there's been, I think Supervisor Little brought this up a couple times, and I guess in the past, I guess before I became the P&Z administrator for Blackhawk County, I guess we basically never had staff, come for the minor plat request or invite the applicant. And so I just wanted to know if you guys are cool with me just sending it through the way it used to be 7 years ago, so I don't have to come or the applicant doesn't have to come for the minor plat request, because I know Mr. Little's brought that up, and since it was a previous guy that did it, I didn't know that in the past. But.
Yeah, basically it's a formality, this procedure. The board has already approved it. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, if we voted no, I don't know if it'd even hold up because we already approved the rezoning.
Exactly.
So all we're doing, and we've done in the past, is approve the plat. And basically, we just did it. I mean, there's really everything he went through at the last meeting, and we approved it. So this, over the years, has been looked at as nothing mere but a formality.
Okay, so in the future, I'll just send it through. I won't be here. The applicant won't be here. And if anything, comes up, let me know and we could bring it back. Cool. But I'll I just remember Mr. Little or Supervisor Little talking about that. So I'm like, oh, okay. Because they get approved all the time anyway. They're always unanimously recommended for approval by our P&Z. So in the future, I won't be here for the minor plat or the applicant. It'll just be put on as a regular agenda item, and we can just send those through like we used to.
And worst case scenario, I guess if questions did come up at that one, we just delay it a week.
You got it, and I'll come
get
back
to you for some reason.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks, Supervisor Little, for pointing that out. And wonderful. Okay. Does anybody have any
questions?
For the applicant?
No, I don't think so.
Zeph, just do a little research and see what would happen, which I've never heard of it, but if the board voted no on the plat.
Oh, okay. I've never.
I mean, we basically already approved the zoning, so I don't know what that.
I've never heard of anyone being denied ever.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we're good.
So
I
you
think we're
just
good.
covered us, you and the, yeah.
Yeah.
applicants.
I don't think there'll be any issues that I could foresee. Plus, you guys would have already had the rezone request go through, so. Okay, I think we'll be fine regardless, but in the future, I'll just put it on the agenda. And then I and the applicant will not be here, but, you know, if for some odd reason, like Linda said, we got to bring it back, we'll bring it back. But I don't foresee any issues with it.
See it either. Okay, great, thank you. Thank you both for being here today, then.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Thank you.
Please answer as your name is called.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Velka,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 10 is work session, discussion possible board action on any county projects. Didn't appear that there were going to be any, I don't know. Rory, were you still in the room? I was going to say, did you want to just at least mention the RFPs?
Yep.
Great.
So the RFP for the treasurers and auditors rearrangement and the lower level remodel, that RFP for professional services went out last week. The pre-bid meeting is scheduled for June 8th. That is a mandatory pre-bid meeting. And then also the RFP for the treasurer's remodel went out at the same time, and that pre-bid meeting is also scheduled for June 8th. So the ball is rolling, so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it is, great.
Any questions on either one of those? Okay,
Thanks for,
thank you.
thank you. Tom, any ARP projects you'd like to speak to or question?
No, I had a question under our comments, but not ARPA.
Okay, all right. Well, moving on to any reports or information from the board?
Yeah, the only thing I had is, do we have any update or information on the NAFCARE committee that was put together?
I actually have that listed myself as for the question. Oh, great, Nate's stepping up.
Hey, Tom, Nate Naff here. I've actually been working on the RFP last week. Was kind of planning on shooting an email out, hopefully yet today or tomorrow, and maybe setting up a meeting for the next week or so on that. Yeah, it's a lot to dig through, but I'm definitely working on it, and hopefully within the next week or two, we can definitely set a meeting with the committee. And I wasn't here when that committee was set. Can you refresh me on who you want?
I think it was Michelle and Chris and Tavis. That
Okay.
still works for everybody?
I'll be getting
As
a hold
well
of you
as the
three, hopefully, like I said, within the next week or so, and we can set something up.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Did you have any other questions, Tom, regarding that?
No, thank you.
Just a really quick update on the rebrand RFP. We had 8 come in. The committee reviewed, got those scores back to Michelle, and we'll be in the process of reaching out to those agencies here this week. Sort of a shorter week, so might fall a little bit behind that timeline that was initially planned out, but really good. All Michelle and I commented that all 8 seem to be really good proposals. So that committee will do some interviews, have some conversations, and then make a recommendation to the full board. So, and then lastly, just because it's on top of my mind, and if folks have any elected officials or community members haven't registered for the My Waterloo Days parade, go ahead and get that in. I think today is the last day. So, yeah.
TikTok. Yeah, that's looking up. And I just had a reminder that we have an oversight meeting at 9 o'clock on Thursday, if that still works for everyone, or hopefully.
9
Okay.
o'clock.
9 o'clock, yes.
I have one thing.
Yes.
I'm going to bring a proclamation to the board in June recognizing first, let's see, public safety telecommunicators as first responders. The state took action to recognize them as such several years ago. I just want to reaffirm that because I had one telecommunicator approach me and say, hey, listen, you know, we'd like this recognition. So I'll bring it to the board, and I just have to get it together and word it appropriately, and we'll take a vote on it.
Good. That sounds good. It'd be good if the state would give them the same union protections that other public employees have too. They don't classify them there. But,
Anything else?
no, I just want to comment that yesterday was Memorial Day. In addition to honoring those veterans that lost their lives in in conflict. I want to make sure we're always uplifting those that lose their lives when they come home because of the long-term effects of PTSD and other things. And being a person now that lives with some aspects of PTSD, it's something I really emphasize or empathize with. Those battles that people are fighting inside their minds.
Thank you. Anything else to come before the board? All right. Ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.